What is up, YouTube? And through all of our sessions, we are back for the first time in over a year. We're heading up now, season 3 of the TCG Party podcast. No, we're not dead. We've just been busy. We suck, but we finally are coming back. This is the Fortress Striker, and today, of course, I'm with my co-host, Mr. Giovanni himself. How you doing, Gio?
Fantastic. We gotta push our TCG Party podcast agenda,
I agree. If only we had the time constraint or time management or whatever, well, that's fine. But anyway, we're not going to be alone because today we also got one of our guests. He's been on our episodes a few times, ladies and gentlemen. Our good friend, Mr. Cameron. How you doing, Cameron?
I'm doing great, man. I've spent a lot of time touching grass today. We finally got some days where it ain't 120 outside, so I'm soaking it all in, breathing some fresh air, ready to talk about some card games.
All right, and we have a lot to talk about, but of course, Gio wanted to do this episode recording today because of today, officially, as we're recording, September 1st, 2023, the official release of the Lorcana TCG set's already out. So let's go ahead and get started. So Giovanni, go ahead and let's let our viewers know what Lorcana is and why all this hype and what's going to be the upcoming future for this game.
So, who wouldn't want to play a Disney-based TCG? So apparently Ravensburger, the developers of this TCG, had worked with Disney before on making Vanillas for Disney, a board game that sold really, really well. And so it comes out today. There are 3 starter decks. And let's see, a trove set, a gift set, and a booster box. Knowing Disney, they're just going all in. And the gameplay featured is a lot like Magic the Gathering. So it's a mana-based system. But what's really cool about this is that when you mana your cards, you're putting them to your inkwell. And only specific cards you could send there that have a little logo on the top where you can ink them and send them to your inkwell. It's really cool gameplay. And it's fun, can be fast-paced, and it's I don't want to say a simple card game, but it's really simplistic, so anybody of all ages can play.
All right. As we can see here on if you guys ever go to the Lorcana Trading Card Game site, which would be disneylorcana.com/en- possibly I would say US for now because that's all we have. So as what Gio said here, all the information's here, including the trailer. And if you go to your TCG player, we don't own that. There would be different type of cards that you could tell that the pricing for the cards is ridiculously high, even before that the set is officially released.
Here's the thing: they did a pre-release that was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know the exact day. It was sometime mid-August, and they sent it off first to the local game shops and stuff like that, to the bigger card shops, and then they sent out this wave to Walmart, Best Buy, Barnes & Nobles, GameStop, Hot Topic, FYE, a bigger pool of stores than normally what trading cards get. Target, don't forget the Target. So this is the big box store waves, which, the thing is that in the first initial wave, like all things, they didn't print as much as they needed to and stuff like that. And so that's part of the part of it. You have people chasing, and now you have people FOMOing, trying to pick up product, and trying to beat out people. And we revisit all these, during the pandemic, the Pokemon issue where people were doing that at Target, when One Piece came out, same thing,
Okay, Cameron, what are your thoughts about this?
My thoughts on it is that the game, in my mind, for the average consumer, it really isn't released yet. If it's not available, if it's not available in the competitive market in terms of like, okay, can it compete in terms of can everybody buy it, right? If I can go to the store, I can buy Pokemon, I can buy Magic, I can buy Yu-Gi-Oh! They may or may not have Lorcana. I may or may not have to go to somebody somewhere else to like access it if I don't have a regular, like a TCG shop, which that's hit or miss as to whether or not they're going to treat you right in there. So if it's not readily available, then it's, in my mind, it's, you know, for the average consumer, I would just say wait.
But do you think for the, like, because, you know, Disney, there's going to be a whole bunch of casuals, right? Do you think this is going to push them away? You know, because I read the Facebook groups and stuff like that, and that's one of the concerns.
Sticker shock is a real thing. That's, I mean, if we're talking about a lot of these smaller properties, a lot of them I'm seeing people are just now spinning the block to come and even get involved in Digimon after the initial sticker shock, and that was 3 years ago. One Piece is a lot of people are just out of it, and they may come back around in, you know, a year or two.
Well, it's finally affordable too. I'm starting to see people pop in their heads end of OP3 going into OP4, which is going to come out.
The current starter decks are sitting at pretty close to MSRP.
Yeah, but they're, you know, they're not meta defining. You know, not trying to make it all about One Piece, but you get me. Like, they're affordable for anybody who wants to play.
Yeah. So I mean, even yet and still, it's, if you ask me, especially with such a wide range of, I want to give them a chance to get it right.
Well, they did announce yesterday that on Facebook and Twitter that there is another reprint wave coming.
Well, and that'd be fantastic. That'd be great. And I don't know if that wave is going to be big enough, but for me, I think that I'm pretty close to the general sentiment, I think, of our overall culture, not just card games, but I think that the whole, like, game companies, especially since it's just recreational money, I think the whole, like, announcements or like this might be fixed or something, like, we kind of want people to show and prove at this point. And I'm definitely on board with that sentiment.
I mean, Bandai did do that for those games. Did it for Digi, did it for One Piece eventually, but, you know, took a bit and they got slandered for it. But, you know, it is what it is on that behalf.
Yeah, I don't know how the deal is, and that's a little intricate as to what's going on with Disney and Ravensburger. Their distribution deal, their printing, any of that, like, those are stuff that the nerds like us, we all find out information on over time. I haven't looked into it quite because with just we have so many card games out right now and so many dropping. There's been so many products in the big card games that are really incredible products.
But none of them have the IP of Disney.
I mean, yeah, sure, but I mean, it's like, I mean, I don't want to get too off the PG track, but it's like going to Miami. Like, there's pretty girls everywhere.
Oh, you're not wrong.
You know,
like,
so,
it's called the Magic. It's called the Magic City for a reason. You know.
Yeah, like Disney. Anyway. Disney's it's especially them going with the classic Disney. I definitely have been waiting to see what Disney's going to do with their classic IP, because they've been, you know, for the last decade, it's been Marvel, Star Wars, and other properties they've.
Well, and they could include those IPs in Lorcana. You know, like, I don't know if they're going to. I mean, supposedly a Star Wars TCG is supposed to come out next year, which would make that a very interesting decision.
That will sell out.
Probably.
There's one quick question, though, I would like to say. If they would do their tournaments, wouldn't their big tournaments should happen in the places where Disney World is taking place, both in Orlando and in California? You know, big regionals, big worlds. Because think about it, because if Disney is currently selling, like, you know, helping making these products, you know, like, and also imagine you're buying these cards as well. At Disney World, they sell them. And obviously, if you buy products at Disney World, it's like a higher market, especially with so much to the inflation of today's economy.
They sell at MSRP at Disney Springs, you know, surprisingly.
I know, but I'm saying that in Disney Worlds, both in California and here in Florida, basically they have to go like really high rise, and you know, they will actually have a lot of fun selling these cards in their gift shops wherever they go, especially in the Magic Kingdoms. It's just like their number one place to have all the rides and the guest stars and everything that you see there.
I think that because Disney World is I'm glad you bring that up. Because I'm the villain. right? I'll claim that right now. I'm the villain. I'm not.
Fair enough.
I'm just Stitch, the anti-hero.
Yeah. So as far as Disney goes, it's pretty well documented at this point that the tourism at their site is not doing well. You know, there's other things going on in the background with their movies, and you know, there's a lot of turmoil.
Oh, yeah.
So I think them fixing or getting on track, if this is a product they're going to release and they want to get some goodwill for their general fans,
That's true.
You know, make sure that that they're just printing this into the dirt. Not to say that there shouldn't be any value or collector's value, but I think we have pretty established models in how to do that, right? And I think Pokemon's a perfect example. You know, make everything available and come out with really cool alt arts, which it looks like, you know, they are coming out with the really cool alt arts. So you know, you just keep on printing, and you know, the collectors they'll figure out what's valuable to them.
I mean, set 2 drops in November. Chapter. This one was called the first chapter. Maybe it's called the second chapter or chapter 2, but it's supposed to drop November.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a good. I mean, November. That's kind of interesting. I mean, late October, November. I guess that's going to be spooky season. I would hope it would come. Maybe they'll have pre-release before November. But you know, Disney's they got a pretty good amount of properties. Nightmare Before Christmas, especially.
Hocus, they should do like one with live action ones, like the Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus. You know, even something like Pirates, or maybe Pirates could be a Somerset. But
what if they also bring not just main Disney movies that came out in theaters, or straight to DVD? How about the ones when they used to have Disney Channel, like the classics? You know, like bring something that a lot of kids were into, like Halloween Town, or My Mom's Dating a Vampire, or you know. Like,
I mean, listen, Disney. Here's the thing: if you guys want me to pay this $400 a box price, okay, I need a Lizzie McGuire set now.
Kim Possible, let's go. Because if you already have Lilo and Stitch anyway, why not?
That would be interesting. Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, we need the Zack and Cody set. You know what I mean?
Zack
like
and Cody, yes.
Like, come on, bring it all home.
American Dragon, Jake Long, let's go.
Yes. I mean, there's definitely some silly opportunities there, but they'll be interesting.
Even the classic Recess, how about that? Go back to the old days, man. Show people why, you know, it's more fun activity to go outside, you know, like they did back in the old days, especially when Pokemon came around, or Yu-Gi-Oh! During the early 2000s, late 90s as well. But yeah, you know, that's, you know, if you do something like that, that shows that the creativity of this, not just focus on the movies, but you should also focus on everything that was based on Disney since day one, back in the 1920s when it first aired, all the way to where it is 100 years later now. Because a lot of things have happened with Disney.
They have a lot of stuff to pull from.
And Disney needs to really take this seriously, because we have seen so many big hype card games come and flop, depending on a set, or like how they turn out to the meta, or how things go in the end, because depending on the creators, because they have flopped a lot. Magic has been hit by that one time. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is already struggling with that. Even DBS is already at the point now it's going to have a reboot by next year. So this is
but Masters is still gonna keep going.
It can keep going, that's fine, but it's like that's a problem, because if you're rebooting,
I mean, I'm gonna let y'all. I'm gonna give it opportunity to get back on the Lorcana track. But as far as DBS goes, man, Masters, it's a corpse. It's there, it exists, but it ain't alive. It's not alive.
We're gonna make an episode talking about Fusion World and all that.
That's what I said. So we'll get back on track, but
we will talk about that next episode. That's correct, guys. We'll talk about the update reboot next episode. Please do keep in mind. But we're just still talking about this for Lorcana. But yes, I agree.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors going on. I think that it kind of, you know, at if you go on TCG, like if you're going online, right? I'm on.
It's definitely cheaper to buy singles for Lorcana than trying to go through your stores and fight people.
An ETB is about 50, which is a little bit more pricey than a Pokemon ETB. I don't know.
Oh, you mean the Trove? The Trove, Trove is $49.99.
The Illumineers Trove, but guess what? You can't get it. What else do they have here?
They have a gift set for
the gift set, which
$29.99.
is four packs for $29. And then Walmart, you can't even get it on the website. So, like, I understand that
as us recording, Target is restocking every time they sell out. Apparently.
Yeah, so. that's typical TCG strategy, right? You kind of got to put it in.
But this is online. Like, they're on their online website. They're selling out and they're restocking.
The thing is that okay, well then you got to deal with the big bad wolf, which is TCG player, which a TCG player, Amber and Amethyst 30, Sapphire and Steel 28.
Well, Amber and Amethyst is definitely the best of the three, and then I would say the green red would be second, and then the ramp deck is last, but like you need the starters though. 100%.
You just need to have you just need cards to play the game. That's you need cards.
Here's the thing though, right?
It's almost $20 a pack, man. Like I'm looking at pack prices. I'm looking at box. It's like $3.20 a box.
Yeah. People are going hard on this, But my thing is what I've been noticing, right? Because I've been playing some games on Pixelborn, the online simulator for it, and things like that. It's really hard to kind of make a budget deck in this game. Not saying you can't, but when Lilos are like $17, $18, Rockstar Stitch is anywhere from $12 to $15. Some of the purple cards are like $12 to $13.
As I'm in TCG player, as you're saying this, the lowest price card I have that's at least worth 7 cents market price is the Wardrobe Bell's Confident card, and that's as low as I'm getting and I'm on like page 10 because everything just goes higher and higher.
Look, let's see here. I'm gonna ask you to look up a card right now. It's a green card.
Go ahead.
I'm looking for its spelling here.
You can go by color, right? That's a way.
I mean, if it goes by
vanilla.
Cameron, I'm gonna give you. Here's a good question for you, and I'll let the viewers know. How many of the movie types in Disney, because they're mostly movies anyway, are in the current set of the card game, combined with the promos and the booster boxes all together? How many in total?
I know I'm sending you a picture, but I just need you to look up that card.
Yeah, I'll do it while Cameron guesses. I just want him to guess.
Okay, well, if I had to guess just at a glance, I'd say about 20.
You were close. 23.
Yeah.
There are allowed 23 of these total movies. I counted them all, and most of them with the Pixar's as well as the animation styles are combined with this set. Only on the first set with the promos.
Well, I mean, to even play the best deck in the game, that deck, Ruby Amethyst Control, you're spending anywhere from $600 to $900 possibly.
Yeah, Amethyst would be the purple, folks. So just remember, because they don't even go by colors. They go by Emerald Green, Amber Yellow, Amethyst Purple, Ruby Red, Steel Silver, and Sapphire Blue.
Minerals.
You got Power Rangers there.
Hey.
Oh my god! Imagine if they still own Power Rangers. They could have put it in Lorcana.
That's one of the days where Jetix was still around, but they don't have that anymore.
Yeah, they don't. I know. I think Nickelodeon owns them. But anyway.
I don't know. Which card did you want me to look up? Sorry.
The one that I just sent you in the DM. I know there's a price in a listing. That's an old price. Let's see on release day, and we can compare. It's a staple in green. You run 4 of it. Card's insane. We're talking about Cusco, the temperamental emperor. 5-drop. It has ward. Opponents can't choose this character except the challenge, and then no touchy. When this character is challenged and banished, you may banish the challenging character. The fact that it's just thought removal if it gets challenged is just amazing, and it just works. Green's all about Cheshire Cat has a similar effect. If it gets challenged, it just removes the card that challenges it. But as I'm looking to these colors, and it's kind of like, what's up? Because the good thing about card games, because I see there's gonna be so many new card game players, just like there was in One Piece. and I saw that the casuals got turned off by people being super tryhard and sweaty at the tournaments and not being able to get the product.
Yeah.
And so we have now that Lorcana has a league where you can go and play for points and you get a promo. I don't think there's competitive play, but PPG is doing 3 events, one this weekend in Colorado. So good luck to everybody going. The next stop will be at TCG Con Miami. We're going to have an event in Miami. I'm actually debating of going. And then there's going to be one in Ohio. So
Ohio's low-key a hub.
Ohio.
If you're talking about Columbus,
Ohio.
Yeah, I believe it is Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. Columbus definitely gets down with the card games. They were carrying DBS for a while. There were some pretty nice size.
Oh
events
yeah,
there.
they kept having those regionals or those events.
Mm-hmm. I want to say PPG has a shop up there.
I'm not sure, but they're always going there. So I mean, regardless of the fact.
Yeah.
But there's no
like
official quote unquote competitive play. But they're gonna put it out next year, and then we'll see what that's like. But for right now, you're building up points. What I'm assuming is what they're doing with this league. You build up the points, you get these promos. I think the points are gonna translate to if you get your nationals invite or your world invite. I think it's gonna work all together, this point system. Hopefully, because that's what makes sense. Because you wouldn't just start a league.
GPs. It sounds like Magic GPs basically, or like the Capcom Pro Tour.
Yeah, and since Ryan Miller was an ex-Magic Pro, I believe, and a lot of ex-Magic Pros developed this game, they'll probably develop the same formula, which is why I have very high hopes on its competitive play, even though the set is simplistic. But, even though it's simplistic, it's hard to master. There are intricate turns where if you don't do what you need to do, or if you just drew mid, well, you just lose. But I think that's any card game, ideally.
Pretty much, yeah.
But if you want to play Stitch aggro, again, you're just spending so much money. Like 4 Lilos, if they're 17, that's 51. If you have 4 Stitch at 12 to like 14, those 2 cards alone run you at least $130.
And I don't know if it maybe my take isn't as doom and gloom as I think it is, because at the end of the day, like, I definitely feel like people.
And keep in mind, aggro isn't the best strategy, and those prices are those prices.
Well, I think people will get the opportunity to play, but it's just going to take time. The game more or less isn't out for most people. It's out for people who want to buy the cards right now because they're planning on getting in early, learning it early, grinding a lot early. It's for the most competitive of people, which is like the 1% of players. So it's kind of, I guess there's a little bit of that jealousy, anger, a little bit of that lizard monkey brain.
I just been reading that all day on the Facebook group.
That we're not going to be able to get the cards quite yet. But if there's going to be another printing wave, and if they're conscious of that and they jump on it quick enough to mitigate some of this, enough people are going to, by the time they get the chance to look at it, they're not going to get the sticker shock. You don't want to let these prices sit like this and let players get the sticker shock.
Especially with such a big and wonderful IP as Disney, it just.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not the biggest Disney guy. I was 100% growing up Warner Brothers Looney Tunes guy. Of course, Disney was in the 90s, but I was just more network humor.
Let's shout out multiverses,
Yeah, but I will say that they have absolutely, when it comes to these IPs that I do have a relationship with, they were a part of my childhood. They are more or less, they are knocking it out of the park with the artwork. The card formats themselves, the card format itself is nice, clear, gives you a lot of art while also giving you clear effects and legibility as well. So it is a well-designed product.
And it makes sense that they have summoning sickness and stuff like that. But the one thing you can't really interact with, and I want to get your opinion, even though this might be your first time looking at the game or the set, you know, when you quest, that means you're swinging or you're attacking. They made it super kid friendly, right?
Yeah.
And when you quest, you get a lore. You get 20 lores, you win the game, right?
Yeah.
And when you exert something, that means you're tapping it down. When you challenge something, you're swinging into somebody else's a creature. You know, it's very simple.
Yeah, more. It's like Magic. Everything has blocker, more or less.
Well, they have body cards that are like deadly defenders. We have to swing at them to get to the other people. Those exist in the game too. But
if you're saying you swing at things that are already tapped down. I've seen some gameplay. It was just some months ago.
Oh, okay, yeah, because like not everything has blocker, no, but like it's more like the Bandai games where like if it's there and you can swing at it
down, you can swing at it once it's tapped
down.
Yeah.
But this is what I was gonna ask you. The quest, like aggro decks, they just live and fiend on just quest, building up this lore and just winning that way. It's the only thing you can't really interact with. The red color, it has small Aladdin and big Aladdin that are the only cards in the game that actually interact with that. Do you think that is a potential problem where you just let these and mind you, aggro isn't the best thing in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about like the lemon lime aggro, the Stitch rookie rush aggro, those type of decks.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Princess Song aggro deck. I probably when they build a board, they swing and go, quest. But do you think that something like that's uninteractable? It's not. Let's not call it a win condition because it's not. But having something like that where you can interact with so early on, do you think that's a good idea? That they'll like maybe revisit and have anti-lure cards further down in other sets?
Well, I mean, there's 100% going to be more textured recovery to start with. Like life gain is going to be a thing. Absolutely, it's 20 life, just like Magic's 20 life. So that's going to be a thing. And then there's absolutely going to be like fog cards, or in Japanese games you call them floodgates, right? So it basically turn off battle for the next however long. There's going to be more and more blockers. Generally, and this even applies to other card games, right? Bandai card games, but it's more so Magic, right? Like creatures, I think they want them to be strong, right? Because that's sort of the Magic design philosophy, is that like Mark Rosewater, he's like the games at its best when creatures are the best cards. But he's saying that the reason why he makes those kind of statements is because generally they aren't, right? Generally things like enchantments or artifacts, or in the case of Digimon, tamers, right, are going to be your best things. Or in Yu-Gi-Oh, like Sky Striker, decks that use a lot of spell cards, things that back row decks.
We do have items in this game, and when you summon them, they're on the field, and you can tap them and use their abilities if you meet the requirements.
Right, and if they're Magic fans, they probably don't have Summoning Sickness, right? So you'll be able to get value out of them instantaneously.
Well, I think the items, they're not creatures themselves, but they're just, they're almost like artifacts.
But they don't have Summoning Sickness. That's the thing about artifacts, is that they don't have Summoning Sickness. So since they don't have Summoning Sickness, you're able to start getting value immediately. And then true. Burn will be a strategy. If creatures are strong right now, it's a early iteration of the game. I'm sure they're trying to maybe figure out a way, and this is my very, very high up, right? And this is my overview of the game, the way it's played out, because I haven't gotten that close to look. But I'd say right now they're trying to not put too much of what we're talking about in things that aren't creatures, because generally a lot of people just like battle cruiser, right? I have a guy on my Discord who has been going back and forth about Magic, and he's getting into Commander, and he's looking at a lot of battle cruiser win cons, and I keep explaining to him, and that like, hey, I just want you to know that like you need to be figuring out rule 0 before you pull this out, because if you're dealing with a very uninteractive table, Magic can get very uninteractive, because like just as you add more and more cards of the types that can't interact with it, because like if creatures have Summoning Sickness, removal is also going to get stronger over time, right? So it's going to be a lot harder to just have a thing live and swing, right? I don't know what color.
And they need to give removal to all colors. One Piece, if you're listening. But you know,
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I think that's what part of what ruined DBS because and what made green so bad for so long because green's color identity was removal. They kept giving more complex, more efficient removal with stronger side effects to every other color, right? They and like green just like, oh, I pop things sometimes, not even ignoring barrier. So like that. If removal they're keeping in one color identity mainly or a few select, just like and it could just be a balance of efficiency, right? Like if it's more efficient,
and I think that color's probably green right now with these cards that say if it gets banished, you banish the opposing creature. You know,
Death Touch.
You know, and then we have blue with ramping, and amber. I believe the yellow color has a lot of weenies. And just kind of goes in and it just plays to that aggro ability. It even has Hades that when you drop it, it lets you pick up a character from your discard pile, add it back to your hand. You know, there's a lot of cool cards in this game.
A lot of tempo.
You know, there's just a lot of neat different things, and I like the fact that they went with like, oh, you're questing, and they really made it kid friendly, and that you gain lore. And that and in each of these creatures have lore values, and the higher drops obviously swing for more lore, clearly. But it's kind of balanced. But Lilo being a one drop that swings for 2 lore is absolutely, it's a staple, and that's why she's as much as she is. But I think over time they'll expand on the colors, and we don't have Alice in Wonderland yet in the game either. I don't think. So there's a lot of ideas.
We
have Mad Hatter.
We do have Alice in Wonderland, but it's only one card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's only
Mad Hatter in green, right?
White Rabbit's Pocket Watch.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
because I saw there was a Mad Hatter card. No Alice, so.
Wait, no, sorry, my bad, because I was on items. Yes, 3 of them, actually. There's only 3. 1 purple, which is the White Rabbit's Pocket Watch. The other 2 are the green, the Cheshire Cat, and the Mad Hatter.
Okay.
Gracious Host, yeah.
Yeah, but we got no Alice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
No, they're probably not going to have it until next set.
I definitely saw an Alice card. 1,000% saw it. Like, it was the first thing I saw.
But
if I find, I'll let you know. Go ahead though.
Okay, but they really need to make sure that I agree with you that I don't want to say print this into the ground because you need to have collectors too. You need to have collectors, casuals, and your competitive tryhards.
Just make the hit. Make the hits hard to hit, right? Make the hits like really blingy. Work with some crazy artists.
Well, I mean, when a case is just 4 boxes, which I've never, cases are usually more boxes in other games. It's really interesting because, like,
well, let me start with this. How big are the sets? I see 232 here. So
I believe this one because they have a companion app, which has all the cards on the app and this and that. I think my app tells me there's 210 cards and stuff.
Let me double check that for you guys while I'm on the site as you're talking, and I'll get back to that in the meantime.
So I think the companion app's a great app. I just yes, the Pixelborn's an unofficial simulator. That's fantastic. They did a great job, because
so 216 different mechanically that's what's been added. There's 36 per color, and there's 6 colors. So 36 by 6 is 216. Okay. Actually 215. Sapphire for whatever reason that's 35, not 36.
Oh, okay. I just kind of wish that the app, instead of having the unofficial simulator, the app had where you could play the card game.
So what they're kind of doing here, if you ask me, 4 cases or 4 box cases is if you want to play the game, you have to trade. If you buy a case, you'll get most of anything in any given color, but for you to max get a play set of every card in that color.
Well, I mean, I do have a buddy that
color and up,
I do have a buddy that bought 3 boxes. He has a lot of bulk. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have like I mean
man.
the set isn't too large. Like Digimon, if you buy 4 boxes, you basically will have the set about. But
Yeah.
Digimon's also like about 120 card set. So that's why I said it's not mathematically it's not gonna be Digimon because it isn't. And mathematically it isn't. It's a wider card pool. You're gonna have more RNG.
Well, yeah. And I saw some people opening starter decks today, and they were getting cards that weren't even like an extra foil that's not supposed to be there, extra cards that were not supposed to be there. So I mean,
okay, so I'm looking it up right now because what they tell you in the booster box is they give you 24 in a box, 12 cards in each pack. I multiply that, so you're getting about 288 cards total in one box. And with your friend saying he bought 3,
yes.
multiply that, he has about 864 of the cards. Only exceptions besides the high rarities and the rares, he has probably mostly the commons and uncommon bulks, which would be very helpful. But like, I would agree with you on that one because when a new card game starts, let's say DBS for example, went back in the day, those cards, those first starter cards are going to be the higher priced cards. In the meantime, depending on how high rise the game is going to be, that's just an example. Obviously, I'm not saying.
Well, I mean, Golden Frieza's still in the meta.
Of course.
I mean, Senzobean was a $20 card. We ain't even got to get into DBS like that. Like, it was definitely borked.
Oh my! Remember the one drop Majin Buu was money. Rui's Coercion was money.
$7 booze.
Oh man, Rui's Coercion.
You know,
the Senzobean still being Senzobean as always.
Yeah, we
can
go back,
objection.
Until it gets eroded or banned.
Before it's banned.
Yeah.
Oh man! But see, it's gonna be interesting. Here's another question to ask for you guys: are we gonna have a ban list or are we gonna have rotation?
I
mean, that's a very good question
smart,
because that actually, I mean, well, here's the thing though. In Pokemon, they have both, but once a card is banned, it's never coming back. But they don't do limitations like they do it for Dragon Ball or Yu-Gi-Oh. Once a card is banned, they're not going to do it again because what they do is they reprint the cards in different art forms, but have similar text, you know. But if the card is as OP, for example, let's say Heart Shadow back in GX era, where it states its ability: when you play this card from your hand to your bench, you and your opponent must shuffle your hand and draw 4 cards, and that actually gives you a plus in case your card land is low, and it negs your opponent because they have to like lose all their best cards. Say they have about 7, there's like, oh, it's gonna be good that I just got from the prize zone, but now I lose all those best cards, and you probably get.
I got a good retort to you. As soon as you finish, they keep reprinting Professor Oak, Switch, Gusto Wind into other cards, Computer Search, Item Finder.
They kept certain those cards from the OG Pokemon before they did they rebooted it by Black and White. Because those cards are just basic cards that's fine and natural to have. It's not a big deal. Like Switch has been around for the longest time. It's still around. Yeah. That's not a problem. Because
that's kind of like Boss's Orders. Boss's Orders is more or less something that's going to probably be in every Pokemon format moving forward. They keep
exactly.
It.
Yeah.
The one thing they gotta worry about is depending on what the item cards is on the trainer cards is very effective, or the supporters, or because the supporters are the ones that people fear the most, because there's a lot of problem cards that helps against main decks or whatever, or Pokemons with abilities that this stuff comes back. If this comes back and it's being
well, they switched the whole gimmick, right? It'll go GX, EX, V Max, V Star, like they're all different, like they interact.
Well, it depends because V was a new thing they did during Sword and Shield because they were focused on the Dynamax or whatever. But the truth is that was a waste and no one liked it, and they prefer the EX. But I like the idea of doing staging Pokemon. It was better. The tag team one was bad.
Tag team. I mean, we ain't gonna get too deep in that.
Yeah, we're not trying to steer away from the main conversation. But tag team.
We know. But yes. But back to the idea.
Something like that in here, like mix two characters together on a card. They started doing like hybrid. I mean, there's like they have the art. The product. I will say this is as exciting as a TCG product as we've had in recent memory. As far as like the whole combination of the like I said, the art, visibility, mechanics.
It has the most potential TCG's ever had.
But its potential does not mean it lands. If they do not make because the difference now is that between then is that there was a Pokemon card in every child's home, right? They need to put these in McDonald's toys, right? In cereal boxes. They need to print. Yep. They need to.
You go
I need to
Disney
come on here.
Special promo.
By the time we hit Halloween, I need to come up here and look at price low to high. And unless it's like some super crazy promo that the collectors are all FOMOing over, which they're going to do anyway. If I come up all here to a high price, I need to see like $5 to $10 max for anything competitive. Why do I say that? Because, well, this is something I'm giving Lorcana the game. Disney Ravensburger, please listen. This is something that Pokemon does. If you guys have been around, I'm sure you know. If a card gets too high, what does a Pokemon company do? Kevin, for 1,000.
They reprint the card.
They reprint the card and it's in.
Ding, ding,
they reprint the card and they give you like 4 packs with it. They don't let their pack price get over like $3. This $17 a pack,
and they give you a digital code for their app.
That's asking a lot. I don't want to say that that's asking a lot, but I hope that they are not. I hope they understand that digital card games need to be a thing. But hey, I'm not gonna. That's a whole other topic, and I can go on and on about. But please,
you know, that's true. I'm 100%.
At least by Christmas time. Like every child, my son needs to own one of these before I do. He needs to go to McDonald's one day or Burger King or something and come back with a pack of these. Like he does Pokemon cards.
I think that the casuals really need to get in, and a lot of them are just angry when they see these people, not saying that they're bragging on the Facebook groups or this and that, but showing their massive hauls, and there's envy and jealousy, or just, seeing the shock of just seeing one or two people just clear out everything, not leaving anything for anybody else, which is unfortunate, because we want this card game. I really do want this card game to grow and be the best that it can, because I have a lot of fun just researching, just playing the little games that I've played. It's a really fun card game, and we play all TCGs here, and I got the same kind of feeling that I did when I first played the Digimon card game. I could have a good time, have like a good drink, a good snack, and just playing with a friend and this and that. And it's a great time. I get that same vibe from this game.
I mean, it's about having a community of cool people, because a lot of people in the TCG space, they're not crossing over, and it's a big issue with the culture as a whole, right? It is a little bit true that we have like a lot of, say, single guys who just have roommates and stuff. They're not used to like interacting with kids in a family friendly type of environment, you know what I mean? Or like thinking in a different kind of way, because it's just like kind of that frat house kind of mentality, because you're literally kind of living in a frat house because it's just you and a couple roommates, and you're just kind of like poking the bear and giving each other a hard time. You don't have to do that all the time with everything. You can just kind of vibe out and chill. So yeah, a lot more of those kinds of people are going to be on this game should it get the reach. You're not especially we're post-pandemic. People are not walking around with a lot of pocket money. And this is trading card games is a pocket money habit.
Mm-hmm.
If it's if you're trying to prop it up as anything other than that, you need to be reminded that you're holding on to cardboard that, by the way, if you're playing, you're going to destroy. You're not getting it graded. You're over there shuffling it. I don't care which way you shuffle it. You don't have it in a slab, so moisture's getting into it. It's curling. If you're playing the card game,
never playing with slab cards.
Yeah, if you're playing the card game, you're gonna go and destroy a $24 piece of cardboard? Come on, let's come down up to prices.
If they can afford it, I mean, but to bet Ruby Amethyst is like best, like Red Purple's best deck and format, right? It's a control deck. A lot of those cards, like I saw, the Red Dragon was like 38 in there, and I was touching like how the purple cards, like some of the Maleficents are like $12-13 each, and you need 4. It quickly goes up. And the
Oh
price
yeah,
is,
yeah. I mean, you're talking. I mean, if every card is, let's say your average card price, I'd say in this game right now is the average. Let's say you have some that are 20, some that are 10, some that are 3 to 5. Let's say $8 a card, and what it's 40 card deck,
60 card.
60 card deck.
And you can have as there's 75 card decks out there. Like
Right, so that's like almost that's $480 if you average your price per card at $8. That's like you're asking a kid, hey, do you want to buy a PS5 or do you want to play Lorcana?
Yeah.
PS5.
I mean, most kids are choosing the PS5.
Yeah, it's also like it's a question if people like want to be interested to the Disney. That's another thing because like it's not like there's something wrong could be wrong with the game. It's just also people if they're really interested in Disney as well because it's hit or miss depending, especially in today's.
Well, I mean, Disney Plus is what, like $10 a month?
It's not the issue. It's just, well, that's not really the thing. It's I'm saying like because in difference, like how we grew up to Disney is different than how people of today's time are growing up to Disney because they didn't grow up to like the stuff that I used to watch, like the Snow Whites, the Cinderellas, Sword of Stone, Robin Hoods, and all that stuff. Or the '90s, or by the '90s when we watched like stuff like around like Hercules, Lion King, Aladdin, Toy Story, Bugs Life, Incredibles. You could go so on and so on. Later on, by the time let's say they were born in the year 2000, by the time they're like 10 years old, what was out in 2010, that's what they're gonna watch. Up to around that time.
You said 10 years old at 2010?
If they were born in the year 2000. When I was born in 95, I was like, what? It was like in the year 2000, I'd be like 5 years old. And in 2005, I'd be 10 years old.
I mean, some of these cards. I'm looking on TCG players. Some of these cards are actually going down.
In 2010, I was like 20 years old, man.
I didn't say you were 10 years old. I said whoever was born in the year 2000 was 10 years old.
Oh, in year 2010. Well, if you're a 2010 and you were a Disney fan, you're a Disney fan because you're probably into like Iron Man and the Avengers and Captain America.
No, but that's only if you're watching the Marvel bought out of when Marvel got bought out to Disney. That's different. But I'm talking about like Disney products that was created by Disney first. That's Disney alone.
Well, if we're talking about what they've put out, since then, in around 2010, because I'm telling you, because I had kids, 2010 though, like, was it WALL-E?
I was thinking WALL-E, yeah. But I can't sure because I wasn't really a fan of WALL-E, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, like this whole classic style. I want to say their next Disney studio movie, there was a big gap. I don't remember what it was because WALL-E was Pixar, but I remember around that time it was around 2011, 12, maybe 13 is when Frozen came out.
2013, I think. That's or 12 or 13. There's also Brave. There was also Up. Like those Pixar movies. Pixar came around more because everyone just stopped doing the cartoonish animate 2D style. The very last 2D animation movie that came out was Princess and the Frog, and
I want to say that was like 2000 and like I don't know 3, 4.
Princess and the Frog? No, that's like way late, dude. 2009.
2009.
I will look that up while we're just...
Yeah. Yeah, they can have. They definitely got some cool properties they could put in here. Like, I mean, if we're talking about the difference in audience like that, yes, this is, I would say, from a more exclusive
2009.
era.
It was 2009.
Okay, so yeah, this would definitely be a more exclusive era of Disney. This is back when they used to vault movies. Like this whole first set in general, really. Like this is the era of movies that have been at some point vaulted. I remember the VHS era, right? Like they dumped out a bunch of VHS tapes and then
they say coming soon to a TV near you. Like
they just kind of
put on the
a trading card game. It is in line with this aesthetic. for sure. Because like this is like there was exclusivity on it. You couldn't always go to the store and buy 101 Dalmatians. They weren't always putting them up there for you. The digital era kind of changed it, but how you do distribution is very important. And yeah, you shouldn't always you shouldn't always be able to get it, but that's where Disney was winning, is because they put it out cheap enough and they put it everywhere all at once, so everybody got on a wave the same time with Little Mermaid, right? Because they did a release, everybody went and bought it, so everybody had something to talk about. Aladdin, Lion King, all that, everything, etc., etc.
By the time the 90s came in, because VHS distributor already started coming out more in the 90s than they did in the 80s, because it was very rare to get a VHS.
But they made sure to get it in everyone's hands, and that's what I'm saying about where they can win, where other TCGs have lost. Is I think people will grab it. People will be on this.
By the way, did you ever get like all the VHSs of Disney?
I don't know if I had all of them. I know every time they came out, we just about Mom was really into them. That's the thing I realized getting to be older, is that I wasn't even all that into cartoons. My mom was, you know, because at the end of the day, I wasn't going to the store and buying them.
Well,
and I didn't ever ask for them. So
my aunt has all of them. Every VHS that came around, including Toy Story 1 and 2. She has them in her house. They still in the same bookshelf.
For Christmas, get her a box of Lorcana. Watch your face light up as she opens every pack. You know, oh, I remember Peter Pan.
And then she doesn't know how to hold the card right, and then it's just like crumbled.
Hey, it's her Christmas present. She can do whatever she wants with it. Okay.
If she pulls the $500 Elsa card, she ruins it. Hey, I'll tell her, hey, you ruined a $500 card, but my boy Cameron says it's your gift. You do whatever you want. That's $500 down the drain. All thanks to your friend Cameron, who suggested this offer.
Yes, and we'll let her do that because she's our auntie and we love her.
True.
See, look, got him.
I mean,
so what was I gonna say?
I don't know what you were gonna say, but I'd love to hear it.
When you see the cards in the game, which of these colors interest you?
Me, I was looking at Ruby Emerald.
Okay.
Like before the whole card pool was released, it was looking like, you know, you could put like Ruby Emerald. It's kind of like a basic.
So you'd play red green evasive aggro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go fast and be a jerk.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's kind of still slower than the Stitch aggro decks and stuff like that, but it gets in.
Yeah. I wouldn't imagine it to be as fast as something like that. It didn't look. It looked like, you're not really cheating too many costs. There's not really like engine like that. The engine's more on the top end with like Aladdin, but I mean, that's just what looks cool to me because Aladdin.
Well, what's funny? What's funny is that that's probably the most budget competitive deck you could probably make right now in this game.
See?
The Ruby?
I know how to pick them.
Well, yeah, but I mean, green's really not that expensive. Like, yeah, there's red cards and stuff like that are pretty expensive, but in this deck, I don't think you play the Maleficent Dragon that's like 38. Stuff like that, so
Mickey Mouse Steamboat Pilot.
Steamboat Mickey is always best Mickey, right?
The Mickey Mouse Werewolf Sorcerer is the purple one, right?
That is the purple one, yeah. That he works with the broom package. He looks like a purple wizard.
Got a sword.
But,
which one interests you, Gio?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, Stitch is my favorite character, and the fact that there's a Stitch Rookie Rush deck that's aggro, it's all everything is there on a silver platter for me. But
wait, hold on. I'm sorry. What is this card? What is this picture I'm looking at?
I don't know.
I'm looking at the Hades King of Olympus alternate art,
Mhm.
and what is this when he finally succeeds taking over Zeus and he just has blonde hair? Like the attire, I am not gonna judge, but the hair, what is this? I can't.
It's everything.
My brain couldn't fathom to what the heck I'm just saying right now.
So here's
Yeah, like once we get some more
here's a
efficient
bucket
removal,
list
like
that I was talking about for that red green.
I see
Oh
why
my God.
Sapphire is the way it is, right? Like, but Bell isn't gonna be a strong card once there's like great removal in the game.
I mean, I'm just looking over this deck, and it looks like Cusco is like $10, but outside of that, I don't think it's so
Did
bad.
you say Cusco?
Yeah, the
It's
temperamental Cusco.
I mean
Sorry,
Cusco.
but the point is that this deck doesn't look that expensive. At least this version that I have here in our Discord displaying.
Well, I'm sure in a couple months whenever the reprint happens, it'll be on the actual floor. So, I mean, Cheshire Cat, strong card.
I mean, yeah, you're playing all the good green shit for the most part.
Here's the thing, Kev. What you need to find is a Donald Duck, like a. So that if that way when you're going back through it, if you hear anybody slip up, you can just put the over it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So here's
I mean that's gold. That's gold. That's genius. Am I wrong? Or
just giving you some examples. This is Lemon Lime Aggro, which is one of like the Stitch decks. Because Stitch Rockstars in it, but it doesn't focus. There's only 2 copies, but this is like another aggro deck in the format. And so you guys,
I like this. It's just I do vibe with Aladdin. It's kind of like my One Piece thing. Like I'm actually being a child about it a little bit. I just kind of want to vibe out with some dope characters. Now, if they had something like Nightmare Before Christmas in there, like it wouldn't even be a question.
Okay.
But Aladdin was definitely one of my favorites growing up. I guess, there is also Lion King, which is, I don't know. I'm sure Lion King wouldn't be budget, right? Like,
most of the symbol cards aren't that expensive.
You remember earlier when you guys said about 2 cards being 1? I know it's not considerate, but if you look at the Hercules alternate art, there's him wearing the scar on him, and when he's
I'm not
standing
gonna
on
lie,
pose.
this VR guest is going crazy.
Good card.
I like how they put in the Easter egg on him. It's pretty funny. What are your thoughts on the silver cards?
I'm looking at it right now. I'm actually vibing with this.
Yeah, the steel. Yeah, that's what they're considered.
Steel is
The Simba Return King alternate art is that one, along with the Tinkerbell Giant Fairy alternate art and regular card.
Steel has a very good matchup into aggro. That's one thing that the color has going for it. And it also has Beast that can kill items. One of the few cards that can do that.
I like how it also matches the Gantu card. Looks pretty cool. The color coding with his skin.
Yeah.
And this one also has. Yeah, actually, this actually has the 2 of the Musketeers, because I know Goofy's in the other color. This also has your Lilo card here, the Galactic Hero, and she's in a spacesuit.
Mickey Mouse Detective. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Actually, as we're something must have happened as we're speaking, because we're definitely. I'm actually seeing some considerable amount of bulk here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually seeing the market kind of move, in a nice direction. So
I mean, just give it time with even more product being out there.
Yeah, okay, so I'm looking at both common and uncommons. The highest for the, I believe, for the uncommon is the Flynn Rider green card, Charming Rogue, for about 370 market price. That's like the highest you get, which I think is not bad. But that's if you're getting the bulks. I'm not including the rare because I'm separating the rares of its own.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like not bad for bulks, especially when you get like how many cards in a deck. By the way, what's the we forgot to ask how many copies in a deck and what's the maximum?
4 copies.
4 copies and how many? What's the minimum maximum?
Minimum is 60. I don't know what the maximum is, but I've seen some 70, 72 card decks out there though. So.
Okay.
Yeah. And you draw a 7 card hand and you mulligan. So
okay, so mulligan's legal. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean every good competitive card game has one.
Except Yu-Gi-Oh.
Well, except for that one, yeah. But that's its own game and it's understandable if it doesn't.
If there's any game you don't want to have a mulligan, like. It's absolutely Yu-Gi-Oh! Holy
my god! Especially if you're gonna have a brick hand, or you're like your hand's like, no, I want to win a broken hand. Let's go.
Yeah, you would just look for the most broken. It wouldn't even matter if you're like, oh, I could play this. You would never keep an. Oh, I could play this hand. You're like, yeah, I'm going for it. I'm going.
Mulligan. Oh, Exodia, I win. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, they'd have to ban Exodia.
They couldn't make that type of a card in this game.
I'm not gonna lie.
We will in the future obviously get if you do this type of card, if you play this certain card with a certain condition rule, you win the game. They're gonna do that anyway because they do.
All right,
that
so let's talk
game.
rules because I'm talking out of my neck a little bit. So 60 card minimum.
Yes, which is what I said. Yes.
All right. So and then colors. What are the max colors? What's color restriction?
2 colors per deck.
2 colors per deck max.
That's fair because the idea of having multiple colors in certain decks is chaotic and unbearable.
I mean, I was just thinking because the mana is colorless. I'm like, you would just play 5 color or the best everything, right? And you would just end up playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
If you could, well, the thing is that not every card is inkable, like I was saying earlier. So you do have to think about what you mana when you go to your inkwell.
There's a logo on it.
Yeah, there's a logo on the top. There'll be like a hexagon or an octagon up there next to the number. Ones that don't have that symbol, you cannot ink. But there are cards in the game that do let you ink inkable card. I mean, uninkable card. Sorry.
Is that like on the Disney Lorcana site for the rules or?
I don't know where he's looking.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, where are you looking at?
I'm looking at TCG Player. I was just looking at cards.
Oh, okay. Because I'm trying to look to see at the rulings what you were saying, but okay. Because I'm looking around, it doesn't say it. It does tell me if I want to play, I can actually, let me see. I can go to the companion app. So for this one, folks, you can go on a companion app. You can download it on your App Store or your Google Play. And it gives you card catalogs, lore counters, and a play guide on how to play the games if you want to be new. So you can, and it gives you like quick start.
It's a very good app. I have it downloaded. It's very, very good.
Yeah, so if you learn how to play, if you're really interested and want to get into it, that's how you can actually go ahead and start buying the cards now. It is better to get it at least in the first set, and it might go down anyway because they're not gonna like make the cards keep being expensive forever anyway. Unless it's going to be part of a huge meta deck later on.
Let's
like
hope
right now,
not,
it's just starting, so it's going to be whatever. But just do your best if you're interested, guys, because if Lorcana, as Gio said, is going to be the next top game around, then let's see how far it goes. And if you guys were to see how far it will be within a year after we spoke already, because remember, September 1st, 2023, as we're recording, is the release date of when the first chapter came. We're not going to consider the promos as a release because that's a separate thing and that's just a specialty. That doesn't count. We're talking about only when
100%.
when the first booster box is released, because that's how it works in games. Okay, and with the starter decks as well, because they come at the same time, so that everybody can have a chance to play the game. That's how they want to make their products go through. The creators are Rensburger. Yeah, I'm guessing we're just gonna have to make this an entire Lorcana episode, and then we're gonna have to talk about everything else on the next episode,
No,
unfortunately.
yeah,
Because
yeah. That was the whole idea with this episode.
yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. Thanks a lot.
yeah, because I want to, moving forward, make an episode about Lorcana, one for One Piece, Digi, DBS, and have them, instead of just going through like 2 hours of, and I love making the episodes, but they could scroll for whoever, because we're a TCG Party podcast. We want everybody, because we play all card games here. We want everybody, if they don't like, let's say they like Yu-Gi-Oh, talking about Yu-Gi-Oh that day, but they don't like any of the other card games, they could just watch their video instead of sitting through 2 hours just waiting. And we don't put any timestamps or anything so they could skip forward. So
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know my editing process. Excuse me.
I mean, we try hard here, but
We're still trying.
But that's why we make a video and they watch it. But yeah, look, having. It's nice having this release, just talking about a brand new game. Its potential is sitting somewhere in the top 3, maybe it's top 2, if they don't botch it. It's a very high ceiling.
We have to wait and see first of all, because we can't just suggest. Yeah, let's focus on top 5. Let's see how far it goes by the end of the month, and then see how it does.
Top 5 is super doable. I mean, if Digimon, DBS, and One Piece have all had the number 4 share at some point, which I think One Piece was just number 4 in the last chart that they did, I definitely think Lorcana could definitely be 5. I don't see why not.
I mean, Lorcana. Here's the thing, Disney, Ravensburger, come holler at me. If y'all want to be number 1, I have some ideas for you. Follow my direction. Make me CEO. I promise you. Print it, send it, rip it. I'll help you with the rest if you come holler at me though. But that's
I thought you were gonna say bop it for a second. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and then and we're canceled.
No, the game, dude. The game from the 90s. Is a toy.
No, that's true. But I'm not talking about. I know what Bop It is. I know what Bop It is.
Womp. When the moderator doesn't even know. Anyway, but I do definitely think they need to ensure that the casuals stay. Because as we've seen with Dragon Ball Super, once the casuals leave, that's it. It's just a trendward going downward. And a lot of people have compared this game to World of Warcraft. I don't know if you remember that, Cameron. It literally died 9 months. Didn't even reach a year, if I remember right. Yeah. But it was like super, like it was people fiending, going in, and then it just disappeared. And they compared Lorcana to that. But I don't think it's a fair comparison because 1, Disney's IP is way bigger, but 2, I remember when that game came out. I didn't play or go to shops and see. I wasn't playing, but yeah, people were FOMOing, but I don't remember it being that big like Lorcana is. I don't remember people rushing to the store and just buying everything out,
I'm looking at these World of Warcraft cards you're looking at while you're talking.
World of Warcraft, they had every opportunity that Disney has right now, and I'll just say it again: print.
All the scalpers out there are getting triggered the moment you keep saying print over and over again.
I understand they're upset because I'm not gonna even speak on them. They ain't got nothing going on. If that's your hustle, man, I've flipped cards myself. Not the same way y'all have, but I've definitely flipped cards, and the money ain't there for you to compromise your own character. It's not worth your soul. I can tell you that it's not. I mean, there might be some revenue streams out there that are worth your soul, but you'd be lucky to get your card note paid flipping cards.
Mm-hmm.
So
Be
I
lucky,
mean,
lucky to open up a shop and start making money.
Okay, so Gio, you said 9 months for World of Warcraft, correct? When it's first released?
That's what I heard, or maybe a year.
Okay, so I'll tell you this. In
Tell me.
August 18, 2005, Upper Deck made the announcement for the release of it, and it was released on October 25th, 2006.
Let me stop you there. Let me stop you there. You know what's funny is that Upper Deck started the creation of Lorcana, and then they lost the lawsuit to Disney, saying that copyright infringement and all that.
Upper Deck has a lot of issues, especially when they lost their chance with Yuya back in the day. But that's a
I
different
remember
story for another day.
that. I remember that too. But keep going.
Yeah. So they had it until they Blizzard Entertainment bought the rights because Upper Deck lost the license. Yeah, they lost the license to it. So Blizzard Entertainment got it in March 2010. The card game ended in August 2013 as Blizzard Entertainment announced that the TCG will be discontinued and that they will not be renewing the game's license. In March 2014, Blizzard released Hearthstone Heroes of Warcraft, an online collectible card game featuring many of the same characters' abilities and artwork. And that's it.
Well, Hearthstone is so much better than the paper game could ever have hoped to have been.
Well, that's because it's a digital game, and that's like a whole other topic for Lorcana. Yeah. Like I said, Ravensburger, Disney, give me a job. I'll help talk you guys through some of this, and we'll get to some. We'll give the people what they want. We'll come out with a fantastic.
I could already see a bulk pile deck. A $25 deck. Sleeper tier 1
listen,
deck.
if they let me and the designers get to cooking, you'll be able to take any 60 cards you want, common, uncommon, whatever, and just play everything against everything. It'll be beautiful and glorious.
Imagine if there was like a Mickey Mouse that restood and kept swinging for lore. I doubt it, but one can dream.
Just like in the cartoons, he's unstoppable.
Steamboat Mickey. Yeah, well, I mean that's a victory strike's a little too far.
You say Steamboat, I say Hogan Mickey.
Well,
you're saying that the game is gonna sell out. They're not gonna be able to keep it on shelves when they come out with the Kingdom Hearts set.
Oh my god!
I was gonna mention that earlier. Kingdom Hearts one is the one that people are gonna buy out like crazy.
Yeah, they're gonna have to fill. They're gonna have to fill. They're gonna have to pick like. They're gonna have to pick like.
That could be their white. That could be their white shorts of this game.
If I was them, I would visualize like just one like area of the Grand Canyon and be like, we need to print this many pieces of cardboard in order to satisfy people when we print the set, because otherwise, we're not gonna be printing enough. Every person will want the Kingdom Hearts. Every person will want the Kingdom Hearts. You'll if you don't have a Japanese player base by then, you absolutely will. Once Kingdom Hearts drop, 100%. The guys in Brazil, the guys in Cuba, the guys in Canada, Italy.
That one guy here, that one guy in that small town somewhere in Michigan,
Australia. Like the Philippines, wherever you want in the world. Everybody in the world will want the Kingdom Hearts set.
I mean, they have play mats, they have sleeves, they came out swinging a little bit with some of these things that they put out there.
I mean, the art's fire.
When they do make a Kingdom Hearts 1 play mat, that's what everyone's gonna buy out. That's it.
Wow, that hits hard,
I feel like the play mats are gonna be worth a lot more than the cards, but then again, I'm not saying the cards are gonna be bad.
Well, I mean, it would be cool, like when they're doing tournaments, like a regional winner mat or something like that from other games, if they did that, or maybe I don't think on entry, but like maybe top 32 gets a mat, blah blah, commemorating that they were there. That'd be neat.
You could always just make your own Kingdom Hearts mat anyway. People have made their own custom play mats anyway. Just take it to tournaments and then that's it.
That's true, but it hits different when you can win one.
You can just leave it there.
It depends. To me, it depends on the art, because a lot of people do put a lot of effort to their arts and play mats. But if it does not excite me personally, for example, it could be depending. It could also be the same for you in your WyseWyld, gentlemen. I think it's just not worth getting, and I could just make my own and make it even look way cooler than the ones they put it in. There's even sites where you can actually customize your own playmats and everything. I even met a guy who had a Ric Flair playmat.
Oh, that's.
I want to meet him.
Do you think
Yeah.
Do you think we'll eventually get like a token deck in this game?
Precisely, they're like in every other game they're gonna have tokens.
Yeah, there's absolutely going to be a token deck.
Those little
Mill-
creatures
mill
from
deck?
Kingdom Hearts should be tokens as well.
Are we gonna have a mill deck?
I am not
Absolutely.
surprised if we were gonna have a mill deck. Of course, we're gonna have a mill deck. I mean,
Oh, I think there's
Dragon
one
Ball-
right now. Actually, never mind.
What?
There is.
Which one?
I think it's like green with something else, but I don't know where it sits, but it's not within like top 5 decks. But I was gonna say, are we gonna have a burn deck?
Yes.
Are we
'Cause
gonna
we
have every? Are we gonna have every deck?
Every archetype is going to make its way into the game for sure.
Oh, by the way, here's another good question. How do you actually win the game? Let's talk about
By
that.
getting 20 lore until you win the game. So every time you
20.
every time you quest, each character card has a lore, and it tells you for how much that they lore. So that's how much you're swinging into. So if they lure for 1, it's 1 point. If they lure from 2 or 3, it's 2 or 3 points. And whoever gets the 21st wins the game.
Well,
And
so it's the
and,
opposite.
and aggro decks are they're the questing decks. They like to quest and get to that 20 mark first. That doesn't mean that they're broken or anything.
Yeah, it's what I've said for a long time, that aggro decks are control decks. They just control life total.
Oh, they do in this game. They do in this game, but there's ways around. There's removal and stuff like that, and steel is a very good answer to all these aggressive decks. So there are
I'm gonna
answers.
score right now. I don't know what other color I'm going to put with it. I'm looking at I see there's this Mickey Mouse Detective. It's got ramp on it. I feel like there was another ramp piece, but I don't remember what it was.
Does there any weaknesses on certain cards against one other color, or it's just based on
One jump ahead.
strategy or power, depending on it?
It really depends what you're queuing into. Like red purple controls. What a lot of people feel going into Colorado this weekend is the best deck, and we'll see if that reigns true. So people are teching for that, or just trying to see what can beat that and all that.
All right, and what's the weakest colors that you find right now, just for this moment, and then what do you see will be the weakest in the future?
Weakest? I don't know, but what I will say this. I'm probably gonna get burned and flamed on the comments, but whatever. I personally, watching the gameplay and all that, I feel like if the ramp decks are pretty fragile. I'm not gonna say they're bad or anything, but like if they don't execute their game plan, or they don't draw the right cards, they just feel like they just sit there and just kind of do not too much.
Just sitting there menacingly.
Yeah. Noel has starter decks, and he's been playing the game, but he was playing the ramp deck and he lost, which was funny because I wouldn't imagine him playing the ramp deck.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's funny because Noel lost.
Oh, he did lose. Yes.
We still love you, Noel, wherever you are.
He lost to the person playing yellow purple. So probably the best starter, but not here.
I'm gonna take a guess. He's playing a red deck, isn't he?
In this game? Well, no, he's
Yes.
just playing starter decks.
Oh, so he's
So-
actually. Oh, is he okay? So he's not gonna just focus on straight on the color red. Okay.
Well, no. But
When-
if he did, I don't think he'd want to pay red prices. So,
Because when we started doing GBS, he wanted to make a red deck immediately, but the problem was he didn't like the leader because the leader when the beginning came out was Champa, and he hates Champa, which I agree. Despite Champa having not a bad effect, he just hates the character. Period. You have to wait till like the next set when they started putting Majin Buu cards in it, and he was like hyped about it because Majin Buu is his favorite character.
yeah, but I'm excited to see him play along with me and all that, and just see what he ends up making. you know.
All right. Is there anything else we're gonna be left to talk about before we wrap this up?
Well, we'll just bring it
Chilling,
on
man.
home. We're just bringing it on home with, they really need to take care of the casuals in this game. They need to ensure that the product's out there.
Yeah.
Can't put this a million times,
Yeah.
And cards are gonna have value, but
Oh,
make sure that
absolutely.
people can. And the best route, if anybody's
They could
listening,
triple the amount of cards they print. They could triple their supply, right? And this Maui alt art, for example, sitting at 120, will likely stay this price or go up.
yeah. What they really have.
If people want to go and get some cards slabbed, I'm all for that. Go ahead.
They
and
have
do it.
already. They have
Like-
already. I've seen that. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Keep going, Cam.
No, I was just gonna say, man, like, if you want to catch a guy who wants to bling out his deck, fine. 100 per, I'm blinging it out. That's not gonna sustain, right? Like,
No.
let's see, what's a ultimate evenly matched right now? If we're gonna talk about trying to play the market that way, because I'm pretty sure they do have alties, yeah. No, they got secrets though, and that's probably more in line because alties are really hard. Secrets are 15, right? This is a game that does competitive bling out, and there are 60 of these sitting on the market. Now let's go over here though and see how many got sold today. One got sold for 21 yesterday. Another one got sold at 14 the day before that, and on that same day another at 22. So like at these prices, these cards actually move. Now let's go to a game that does not print enough, and let's expose something real quick. All right, so if we go to Dragon Ball Super card game and we go to Secret Rare, right? Let's try and find something that's in that similar like ballpark. Actually, hey, we got the SSB Vegeta Unbridled Power God Rare right here right now, sitting at a nice 24.20. Okay, now this has been sitting at around this. There's 3 listings, however many X amount of thousand. The only sale that's been recorded was back in July. Somebody bought a copy for 1,100. So these high prices do not make the market move.
They just really need to ensure that people want to stay and play the game. It is super critical that happens, and hopefully they reprint and all this and that, and hopefully some people brew some budget brews that people can play on paper.
Yeah, by the time we get about 3, 4, 5 sets in, we'll have a popper format. You'll be able to play all commons, uncommons, and it'll be fun. It won't just be vanilla swinging at each other. Couple more starter decks come out, and they figure out what the right amount is to print. Because you don't want to leave too much product sitting on the shelf. So I understand like why you don't want to be gung ho and why you want to test the waters. I won't say I don't understand that.
You just want people playing. You want people playing your game, and
you want all of it.
One Piece didn't die because there was nothing out there. Digimon didn't die during the pandemic because it was hard to get. I see some of these comments in the Facebook groups that Lorcana would die. No, it just won't. Not in this.
I guess right now
it's way too early.
The only issue is just like you gotta deal with the economy, but it's not as worse as it was with the pandemic. The pandemic was the big issue.
Well, we also have people doing like they'd get their unemployment check. Like you always knew when the unemployment checks were coming because a bunch of guys would come and just buy everything out on check day. You'd see posts on social media, all types of other luxury goods getting bought out. What they say, it was Balenciaga and like Gucci were the biggest. They had the most profits ever during the pandemic. So it was people spending habits was played a lot into that. I don't know that that's gonna continue or play into this. That's just all kind of a side note. But this This I can see it if they keep that up. I like what they put out here though. It is something that if they take full advantage of, I think people will meet them on it. I think people are excited, but I just don't think everybody, the market that really would love this doesn't know yet, and they'll know once they're able to get it in their hands.
Yep, nothing like plain paper and on the kitchen table.
Well, something about like I don't know about you guys, but I almost feel like your brain doesn't even register the price of something if the price isn't right. Like if you look at one of these little cardboard, boxes with playing cards on them in the store with your kid, your brain almost picks up, hey, that's $10. But if it's like $40, like let's say, at a they put what they're not MSRPing for, but what they're going on TCG. Let's just say that sticker price was on a store shelf. You wouldn't even look at it. Like Commander Precons, once they start getting to be like 50, 60, you don't even...
No.
You weren't even thinking about taking it home because your brain didn't even think to have the thought.
I mean,
it wasn't going to line up.
It's funny because I called one of... It's a arcade / game place. I don't think it's a game shop. I called it, right? And they told me that starters were $29.99. So what is that? About $12 over MSRP. That's not bad. I've seen a little bit higher online. Box was $2.30, but it made me think like, if that was like my last place, like last option, if I really needed to buy one of them, then that's where I was going, And they had singles too, which was weird because I didn't imagine that anybody would have singles this early. But then I called another Lorcana store in my area. I mean, PPG, clearly, when I'm in Miami, and Cool Stuff Miami and Nowhere Comics and Games, they all have product. But out here where I'm at in Southwest Florida, it's a little harder. And then there's a comic book store in a mall, and they didn't even get their shipment in yet. But they were selling at MSRP. So I was just kind of hoping and waiting that they would get their stock in to go over there and buy. Because it just makes more sense, you get me?
Yeah. I guess you always want to buy where you play.
And they don't even, that store doesn't hold tournaments, but their other one does. But, it was kind of like, it was interesting because I was like, oh, I'd rather just get at MSRP if I can. It just makes more sense.
I think MSRP is a little high. I haven't got to handle the cards and see if like the stock is, of that quality. So if the quality matches up, maybe. I understand that packs are a little bit larger than say like I want to say Digi and Poke's 9 and this is 12. So 3 extra cards, but I want to say this is also 3 extra bucks. No, like 4, because I think MSRP on a pack is 7.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say MSRP on Pokepacks 3. Well, between 3 and 4. We'll call it $350. I've seen it as high as like $420. But wow. I mean, I guess you do have a higher chance of hitting because this set is smaller. I would say my other advice that I really enjoy is Digimon, the smaller, like 120 card sets. I buy more product because I know that when a set comes out, I can pass or skip and I can pick which one I like. I definitely think that's a great place to be. That's why say Commander's been very successful because, if you have a couple Commander projects, you can kind of choose what to buy, when, and where. You're not really stressed out and in the rat race. Like every time a new DBS set or a new Yu-Gi-Oh set drops, because of the way like the game design and power creep and like the way cards are so designed interlocked with each other, it's like stress every time a set comes out.
And don't forget the ban lists and rotations in other games too.
Ban lists and then like the functional promos. Oh my goodness, Disney, please, Ravensburger, if there's any promos that
I
only
already
have
knew.
text on them, and you have to go to a store to get that card, I'm out. I hate to say I'm out immediately. I will not. I can't.
Or a promo only at a tournament event.
Yeah, the
Or
tournament
I
promos
mean,
are
they
so
had
toxic.
Gen Con promos, but like those are regular cards in a set, you know. That I'm okay with, you know, because like you can get it
Yeah.
later on through a set. But like if they're exclusive promos and stuff like that, please do not do that.
No, I'm sorry. I'm out immediately. Like it's not even. It's like a red flag to the point of like we're not even going to talk about it. I'm just going to block you. You're
Damn,
you're
not
getting
even
ghosted. You're getting ghosted. I'm sorry.
not even give them a
Right
chance.
then.
Just straight up.
Out of it. You're done. You're
Just be
done.
done, yeah. Yeah. That will be a
So,
big problem, but we have to see this through after the first set to see how well it's done. Obviously, it's like I said, it's gonna be doing well, popularized, but let's see
yeah.
how they can do it because they have to listen to everybody. It's like what you say, they can't just listen to you; they gotta listen to everyone to see how far they can go.
I give the
Especially for
benefit
the
of the
second
doubt.
and third sets. It's by next year is the one we have to focus on to see how far it is within the year, and to see how well it does. You know. Will it be slow? Will
Yeah.
it be fast? Will it be nice? Will it be bad? We never know because we have to see this through the end.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I give the benefit of the doubt out so little that when I do, I say it like I'm announcing it right now. Okay, the game for the general consumer, more or less, isn't out. So we're speaking on it so early that yes, we can give it up to a proper release. I'll see. I think we're still in the launching process. I think the product isn't quite to the point where it can be judged like that quite yet. Them already like looking at subsequent print runs, that news to me tells me that there's some fundamental things they understand, and maybe they needed this to show Disney like, hey, supply and demand, to get the go ahead to print more. I don't know exactly how that is, but I know that print runs, doing subsequent print runs, looking at Bandai's woes with it is not the easiest thing to set up. I mean, Pokemon kind of just like did it, but Pokemon doesn't have like a resource problem at all. They don't like and neither does Wizards, but Wizards generally goes the route of just print. I don't think they go back and do multiple print runs. They just print a lot when they do. And that's for America, NA, we're a big country. There's 50 states, basically 50 countries you got to distribute to. So we need a lot of product to cover a lot of ground here. If you're any card game in NA, that's something you got to understand. I think Yu-Gi-Oh, even Yu-Gi-Oh has more or less gotten that now. Like with cards like Ash Blossom, for example. Ash Blossom, they reprint in every structure deck for the last like 2 years. Because like, if you need this card to play the game, and us trying to make you open packs and do the box thing, where most NA players are kitchen table people. They get it from their Walmart, they buy it online, they play with a friend or a family member in their home. And that's
unless you're a rare hunter who wants to go for the highest price cards, then yeah, no.
Yeah, and you can definitely have some of the like tournament stuff, but as time goes on and more cards get released, some of these cards, well, pretty much all of these cards are probably going to be, the people trying to keep up with the newest mechanics in the game. Like, it might not even be necessarily strength, it's just the format changes in the tempo that the general player's playing at. The certain cards just don't fit in it. They didn't lose any power. If they have a way to out and get in that way, then that those old cards can find playability generally in card games. But yeah, like, let's not fool ourselves. It's gonna be quote unquote some form of power creep. You're not gonna just play these set one cards forever. And that's another thing too. I say to people with FOMO is that like sometimes when you miss out, just miss out. Like, you know, look forward to the next set. They'll come out with more new interesting cards. And if November isn't too far off, we're already in September, so October, November, like we got about 60 days. So there's just going to be more product.
Okay.
So, I mean, there will be more. We'll see if it hits a certain standard, a certain level. If they go really crazy, if I see this at my Walmart, if I can go on the Walmart website and order this on my app, like I can with a Crystal B structure, right? I can do a Walmart grocery order and get a Crystal B structure sent to my house. You know, like if I can do that with Lorcana starter, then like, all right, come on.
All right then. Okay. And so let's go ahead and start wrapping things up, gentlemen, because I think we spoke enough about Lorcana, and we'll get back to it more very much the next time on the next episodes, because we have a lot to talk about, especially as we were discussing on my Twitter. I saw that the Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list just came out yesterday, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to talk time. We will have to discuss about it the next following. So we will see you guys then on episode 2 season 3, and we thank you very much for checking us out on this special episode of the season premiere of the TCG Party Podcast. If you also wish to be updated to know when we're actually going to be recording and when the episode is going to be released, do check us out on the Facebook group. Oh, I'm sorry, not Facebook group, the Facebook page at the facebook.com/TCG Party Podcast. And we also have a Twitter, or X now, because Elon Musk likes to change things. We have, stick with it. We have a Twitter here. And you can go ahead and follow us for updates and everything here under TCG Party Podcast as well. So at TCG Party Podcast on the Twitter home, that'll be great. You guys follow us up, always give us some comments, some feedbacks. It'd be wonderful. Love to hear it. And don't forget to also check out the YouTube channel under the Fortress Striker, setting up for the podcast where all the playlists is, from the originals from the DBS all the way to the later episodes of the TCG Party Podcast. And you guys go ahead, subscribe to get us more episodes review. And one last section is Twitch. Also check us out whenever we do actual live streams, recordings, or just having some fun under Fortress Striker. You can also check us out later on. And any feedbacks on you guys? Any Twitters? Any Facebooks? Instagrams? Cameron?
You can find me WyseWyld on everything. My YouTube channel. I have a series I put out, 10-minute reviews. I was reviewing video games for the first 10 minutes, giving them a nice quick score. I don't think I'll do a season 2 of that, but I'm definitely going to be releasing some newer content here as we get into the fall season. And otherwise, I'll have them put a link to my Discord in here as well for you guys.
All right, we'll leave that in the description box for you.
And twitch.tv/MDCBlue. I'm going to make some other ones in the meanwhile, Kevin. And we'll link it. I'll have you link it. So.
Perfect. All right. Any last things to say, gentlemen, before we head off?
It's back to school. I hope you guys learn some manners.
I just hope that everybody gets all the Lorcana products that they want today and get to enjoy the game.
Facts.
Yeah. And with that, I think it is time to wrap up our episode today, Kevin.
Alright guys, so we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I want to go ahead and say our goodbyes. This is WyseWyld, Cameron.
Yes, sir.
The great Moonlight Drive, and as he says here, or MDC Blue, Giovanni.
Stitch is the best Disney character, hands down.
Agreed. And this is the Fortress Striker, signing off.